Hello, and welcome to today's Streamline Dev Stream, where I am going to be working on some more Streamline for a while. We managed to start getting the sidebar done on Monday and made some good progress on that. I've done a bit of tidying up, changes, a bit more stuff working on there since then, and we're hopefully going to try and get the sidebar finished and maybe see if we can start getting some music into the app, dragging some tracks in and maybe actually creating playlists. So I'm going to jump right in and switch us over to our main view. So if you are in chat, please do let me know how you are doing today, how your day has gone, or how it is going, depends on what time it is for you, and just let me know what the day has in store for you, whether you've been up to anything interesting, or what you're working on. And as always, if you have any questions, just ask away and I'll try to answer about what I'm working on, about development in general, or any topic that you want to bring up. So if we go in and have a look at where we currently are, we're currently not filing because of that. Then it should be. Okay, so we have some stuff to do, but don't have that much to do, we just need to play something. So we got our playlist working where it was adding a new playlist, we could rearrange, we could add new playlists, we could we hadn't implemented deleting, but undo redo works, so we're good there. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to show you what I've worked on. Now, first thing I've worked on is, very quickly, I've got streams appearing, and this is mostly using the same code as the playlist nodes. If we really wanted to, we could try and make this some like generic to some degree, but copy paste code is fine. One thing we will have to do is make this sorted. But yeah, we've just got it updating stream nodes, it's adding streams in. One thing that you will note is we can't actually rearrange these because we don't support dragging and dropping streams yet. Other stuff I've done is actually update view model. So you will notice, if we go to the view controller, most of this is the same, but these methods here have changed. Now they haven't changed a ridiculous amount, but you see that we now call in and say view model can drop item onto some item at child index, and here we have actually drop item with model ID onto item at child index. And what this means is we can put these into the model. Now you may be asking, what is into the view model, sorry. Now you may be asking, what is the benefit of that? Well, the key benefit, firstly, this can be reused, it can be unit tested and so on if necessary. But the key thing is, just have a generic interface here. It can drop some item with a model ID onto some source system. All this cares about is, if I pass this stuff in, are you going to give me a boolean back? And if I pass this in, am I going to get a boolean back? Which actually makes this a lot easier to deal with. Because this needs a boolean back. Say, did it succeed? Or we're either returning false, or here, false or true. So all we need to determine is this a model ID? If so, get the model ID and then pass all the other information we have in. I don't care about exactly what we're doing. We just care about, if we give you this, give us a boolean back. And if you want to do anything else, that's fine. Similar thing here. We can just pass in model ID, an item, an index, and so on. And if it's true, we can return generic, otherwise it's going to go here. Now, why is all of this important? Because model ID can be any type of model object. It could be a playlist, it could be a group, it could be a track, it could be any sort of thing. So what we want to be able to do is put all that complex logic into here and basically simplify this up. So for example, if the model ID is for a playlist, then we only want to allow it to drop onto source list, onto the playlist source list node. If it is a stream, we only want it to go onto the stream source list node at a certain end. If it is a track, we're going to want it to be able to drop onto a playlist, but not between playlists, so not onto the playlist source list node. The source list node itself has to be a playlist. If it is a file, we want to be able to drop it onto other stuff, but for files, they will have a different type. So for files, we will actually handle those in separate methods, because that has to handle all the copying stuff across and everything. So what this essentially lets us do is just simplify this a lot. We just say, okay, what type do we have? Okay, get that type, and then get stuff out here. Now, there are some more cleanups that I would like to do, and we'll get onto those. They're going to actually be in M3 data. But what we're going to do first, actually, you know what? Let's get onto these cleanups first. In fact, let's write a list, because this list here was a bit too optimistic for what we will be able to get through. So what we want to do is this board model line then we want the sorted streams, then we want deleting playlist streams, and then icons. And we're just going to use SwiftUI as is to begin with, get things fleshed out, sorted, and then we can move on to like choosing specific icons at another date if we need to. So, the first thing is a pasteboard model ID convenience. What I want to do is basically we have here, do the types contain the pasteboard? If so, get them and then convert them into model IDs. What I want to do is have a convenience where I can just say, for a dragging pasteboard here, give me the model ID. So therefore, we don't need to get the pasteboard items from the types, it's just basically give me the model IDs, and then we can do another one for give me the file URL. But file URLs isn't as crucial. So what we're going to do is go down here, and M3 data is our data lane. This is a library that is shared between Streamline and Coppice, and it's just the basic infrastructure. And it supports things such as converting to and from pasteboard items. So what we want to add in here, what we could probably do is create a new file. I'm going to call this model ID plus pasteboard. I'm going to edit this out. and shove it there. But then we're also going to do pasteboard. This should actually be pasteboard item. And pasteboard helper, we're going to do an extension on NS. Ah. No, actually. White pasteboard on the pasteboard app kit. Pasteboard. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, the good news is we can convert that back to foundation. And this is going to be app kit. So this stuff we will probably eventually have to change when it goes to NS to iOS. At least when Coppice does. iOS not have pasteboard item? Item providers, and that's item provider. Purest of rains they come, pillars of peace is strange. Okay, well, I guess we will have to deal with that in the future at some point. So, what I want to do is extension Facebook. And what I'm just going to do is a property, public bar, model ID, it's going to be array, model ID, which is also going to be an option. That's going to make things a bit, actually no, not too great. So what we need to do is guard let types equal self dot types. Oh, actually, self dot types dot take dot model ID dot pasteboard type. Pasteboard items, pasteboard item. Need to make sure that we have our pasteboard items there, otherwise you turn an empty array. Then what we're going to do is return pasteboard items dot compact map model ID. Very simple convenience, but what that should allow us to do assuming it builds. Okay. Is to go here. And all of this we could just pasteboard dot model ID dot first. So let model ID be able to get that. Well, oh, it's info dot tagging pasteboard. We have to do the same here. I'm going to do model ID equals info.draggingpasteboard.model IDs. Now the reason we're just doing first is we're only allowing you to drag one item at a time. So that just simplifies that down a bit. So next up, you see just how much easier that makes it when you can hide this away. And the key thing is, you may think, oh, but you're hiding code away. But that's essentially what your job is to hide code away. So by hiding that away, we've made this much easier to read, much simpler. And for dragging pasteboards, just get the model IDs from dragging pasteboards. So we've made stuff a lot better, and this is something that I probably should be bringing over to Coppice at some point. So the next thing, in fact, before I forget, let me just, while I bring up power. Good, because I had work stuff made. Right. So I go to Streamline, go to submodules, and add pasteboard convenient. Model ID. Dash.
Welcome.
Pull that down. Apply.
You've got mail.
Open Kaleidoscope and get through this. Option. Yep. Take that and push that. And we can go up, out, and then we'll be able to commit this. Okay. So shift that knowledge there. That's just so I don't forget to commit M3 data later on. So what else? Stream. So if you go to playlist, down at the bottom, got a helper that is on a model collection where the model type is playlist. The model collection is actually about the only thing in here that is severely generic. Everything else is essentially you use it as is, but with no real generics, or it is protocols or classes. Whereas this, you use it as is, but it uses generics a lot. It's where most of the generic magic happens. But what it means is that we can add properties depending on what the model type is. So when the model collection playlist, we get sorted playlists on it. However, when it is stream, do sorted stream. And another thing that we need to do is actually update or create stream. What we're going to want to do is name it playlist account now equals selection.all.count. Name it to stream count. Stream. Now we are going to have to do some stuff where we actually, when you delete, it will actually tidy sort indexes and stuff, but we can do that sort of stuff later on. So let's build and run. Okay, so you can see these are not sorted at the moment because while we've added this, we haven't called it. So 2, 3, 1. So if we go into our model, here we're going to go to sorted stream. And now it's 1, 2, 3 because that is sort index that they happen to have already. They are sorted, but you can't rearrange them. So what we want to do is actually support rearranging. Model controller. So you've got move playlist above playlist at index. That this is something that we could genuinely do as stage now. But what we're going to do, because this is going to be for playlists, it's going to be for streams. For playlist tracks. But we're never going to want to get all sorted playlists. I suppose we could have it as a, rather than working on a playlist collection, it could work on a just an array of some I. Okay, so what we would do is copy this. Going to do a protocol which is going to be portable model, and that is going to have a var dot index, which is going to be an int get set. And then we're going to do an extension. We'll probably shift this out to a separate file in a second, but extension array where element equals circle model. And we're going to add new element. Now we're going to do multiple elements because we can reuse this for sorting traps. So given some array of sortable elements, move an array element above item at index. So what we're going to do is that's going to be an array of elements star, which is going to be self, order, item, in element. Moving the element to move. So essentially what this is doing is, with our new order, we're going to go through, get the first index of the element we want to move, and set its index to nil. So we nil all those out. We then insert them at the index we want. Now the key thing for doing this and why we set it to nil is basically clearing out those indexes, but we've got the elements that we're going to insert at the index we want, and this index remains valid. And the key thing is that by clearing out first, the indexes of these remain valid, and we don't have to account for always moving them along. And then all we can do is a compact map where we're basically just getting rid of any nil items, rate them, and return them. Again, there's probably more efficient ways of doing this, but efficiency only matters when you have scale. And scale that this is going to be working at, any performance hit is not going to be an issue, and we can fix it when it becomes. So, now that we have that, all we can do is we can't do that just yet because what we need to do, first thing we're going to do is there. Then what we're going to do is a playlist. It's going to be a sortable model. A stream is going to be a sortable model. And then what we can do in our model controller is we have our move here and we do This is why I hate Swift protocols. This is why I wish Swift protocols would be completely thrown out, scrapped, set on fire, the ashes thrown into lava, the lava scooped up and thrown in the sea drained, put on a rocket and shot into the sun. Because Swift protocols are the most rage-inducing thing in the whole of Swift. They are quite possibly the worst implemented bit in the whole of Swift. They are easily the bit of Swift that if they all went away tomorrow, I would not be sad they're gone, because they add very little to the language that is all that useful, and they add a huge amount of pain. Because every time I use a protocol, I almost always inevitably end up finding that just using inheritance is better, and that is a problem, because it was never that way in Objective-C. Like, you'd use inheritance a lot, but composability was a lot better because the protocols were a lot better. And protocols in Swift just promote not using protocols. They promote using inheritance and abstract base classes. And it's because of stuff like this. I just want to make sure that two things are equal and a sortable model. That should not be a hard problem, but for Swift it is. Unless you can do an element was equatable. Can. Element is okay, so we're getting somewhere, except first index of an option requires a okay, well, I guess this isn't possible. So, I hate this about Swift. It is by far, like, there's so many good things about Swift, and I want to be, like, excited about Swift. But protocols are far and away the most ill thought out, ill conceived, poorly implemented part of the entire language. And I wish they would just tear them out. And yes, you're going to lose a few bits of magic, but that magic is not worth the amount of pay over what they could be, which is something far simpler but far more powerful, which is like effectively Objective-C protocols. This is where type systems are generally just theory playing out over practice, where you are going to end up and to do what I do, where something that you could try to make generic, you think, oh, that should be possible, because of the way they work, you can't. You have to copy paste code. Which means as a result, it's more like to make it, and effectively the type system has magically done the opposite of what a type system is meant to do, which is use bugs. At least what it claims to do. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a bit salty. I hate it when the language gets in the way of basic stuff. It wouldn't be so bad if it was just something that you ranted about on occasion, but the fact is, it's like 95% of the times I'm using Swift protocols, I'm ranting about them because they are just that terrible. It shouldn't be that hard, Apple, for you to build a feature that is genuinely useful and pleasant to use and something that I want to use, rather than something that I have to use and end up when I feel like, oh, this would make sense, I end up having to do something else because while it would make sense, the system doesn't work. Now Swift 6 is supposedly meant to make some of this stuff easier, but again, it doesn't really help. It just has a lot of theoretical stuff and boilerplate that should not really be necessary in a modern programming language. Right, so all this stuff here is now moving the stream, so let's put a happier face back on. And what I want to do is go to our source list view model. So if id.modelType is equal stream.modelType and the source list node is equal to self.stream source list node, and true. Hey Silent Assassin, I would say it's going well, but you've literally just missed me ranting for about 5 minutes about programming languages and type systems and all sorts of technical stuff that irritates me. So yes, that is how my evening is going so far, but how are you doing today? How's your day going? So we're going to do, let's get the source list of dot stream source list node. That's alright, been a very warm day. Yeah, it's been rather warm here today as well. Oh, quite windy. What sort of temperatures have you been having there? Been a bit cooler today, but we've had a high of about 20. It was a bit higher yesterday, though it's the humidity that's been a problem over the past few days. What is the humidity at the moment? Not too bad, 55%, but on Monday it was very humid and about the same temperature, which made it feel a lot worse. Yeah, if you're not used to the heat, then it's not the easiest thing to get used to. I've never particularly liked the heat, and especially on hot, sunny days where the humidity is fairly high, are just the worst, especially when I'm working on those days, because then the computer's putting out a lot of heat. So when I was in my old office, that just got like way too warm, getting into the high like 20s Celsius there, and that is not something that you want to be working in when your computer's putting out excess heat and you can't get any sort of through breeze or anything, and you've just got one small window to open. Yeah, it was not good. I mean, It was even worse if I, like, once I finished work and then if I wanted to go and play on my gaming PC, because that was in my attic room, and up there, you'd be talking like 30 degrees plus before I'd even put the computer on. Then gaming PC puts out even more heat than my work computer. So thankfully now I'm in a much bigger room with much more ventilation, and I don't have the sun shining in at the hottest part of the day. The sun doesn't even touch my office, so it should stay a lot cooler. And it should stay even cooler still, because hopefully at some point, I mean at the moment it's saying Monday, my new computer should arrive, which should put out a lot less heat than my current one. Because how much heat does this say? Here we are, sensors. At the moment, my computer is not doing much, and it's using about 160, 170 watts of power. So if I was to do that build, now let's just do a clean build and see how much this puts out. Software model. Clean and build. Try again. How much? Oh, that goes way too quick. You know what? Let's try Coppice. That'll take much longer to build. Sort of power we get there. Not too bad at the moment, but it gets up to like 200 watts plus, but it's idling only about 160, but that is significantly more than what Apple Silicon can do. So it puts out far less heat, so which should hopefully mean my room gets not quite so toasty when I'm working in the middle of summer. Right, so I think I have that. Here we can see the benefit of moving these to the view model, because rather than being up here, these just call in, and again it doesn't matter what gets passed in, I just do it in the view model, and this code is simpler and makes it a lot easier to test as well in future. So if we build and run, should now be able to view. Oh no, because I am not doing pasteboard writer. Data model, a data source. Source node item as pasteboard writer. There we go. This needs pasteboard writer. So, are you up to much at the moment, Sound Assassin? Anything interesting you're working on? Ah. Also, update. A stream observer. Collection. Server. And when it changes there, we're going to trigger a reload. There we go. So 1 now back at the top, 3 is now back at the bottom, but we can't drag that onto there, we can't drag that onto there. So you can rearrange streams within streams, you can rearrange playlists within playlists, but never the twain shall meet. Okay, so we've got sorting done. So let's get deleting working. Now that should be fairly simple to do. What we want to do is go to our playlist controller. We've got our key list, key down there, and we've got also this view controller. Our view stuff. Mark. Life cycle. So I'm keyed down. If all that is gone, then what we want to do, self.outline view dot item at row. So want to guard let selected row equal after outline view dot selected row. I want to make sure our selected row is greater than -1. Then we want to get the item, but we also want let selected node equals node selected row as source list node. Then what we're going to do is self.view model dot delete selected node. View model, we are going to add a method for deleting. If let no list not equal list process node, and we can delete. Also if let node equal node process node. Otherwise we're not going to do anything. Here it's just going to be self.model-controller.playlist. Actually no. Delete playlist node.playlist. model controller delete play node stream. So now deleting should work. Delete a stream, do playlist, undo. Redo. So we got deleting working. So the last thing we need to do is deal with these icons. So what we want to do is we go to sources node. We've got image there. We're going to have a look here. We have that is data now. What we're going to do here is the value, the object value.image. This again is going to be object value dot image. That should hopefully put images in there. Now what we need to do in our model types actually return the image. So for track, use SF symbols, open that up. So we have audio. Let's use a library. Yeah, so we're going to do image. I'm going to return ns image. Symbol name, building.column.fill, and now, actually no, accessibility description is going to be X, and then we are going to see, is there a playlist? Stick note list. Okay, so there isn't a smart playlist. So we will have to create one when it comes to it. Override for image. Well. Could be a list, but it's not. Maybe if I did a grid. Do a grid, because you're going to have a grid of items. So if we do, copy that, paste it there. Stream. The other one actually work. Nice tunes. Thank you very much. They're a mix of various tunes that thankfully are all copyright friendly. So there are some from a website called Purple Planet Music, which are pretty great. A few here from Riot Games, who make League of Legends. They released a few albums of DMCA friendly things. Popski is an album I've bought full of like chiptune stuff. And then what else do we have? Miracle of Sound and Twerk, which generally DMCA fine, but YouTube flags them. Doesn't like cause copyright strikes, it just doesn't let you monetize. And then finally down here, we have some things from the Heartbound soundtrack, which if you've ever watched Pirate Software's stream, that makes up his playlist on his stream. I need to go through more of the Heartbound soundtrack to find some more tracks that I like from it. But yeah, hopefully, eventually, all of this will be in Streamline, and I can use Streamline to display stuff on the actual stream. Put the music in, have Streamline play it, but then also have a display for what actually is streamed. So what I am going to do, because I now have the icons in, I am going to commit. Go up here, I'm going to save all this, and this is going to be Streamline 1, 3, 6. Going to be oh, actually no, it's not Streamline 1, it's Streamline 3 and 6. Add streams and playlist sidebar. Like that. Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, I don't actually have a remote. Okay, I'm going to have to set that up at some point. Make sure I'm pushing this off. Because I have an overkill backup system, but I still want it backed up to other services when it comes to code. So yeah, we have stuff working. So what I can do here is see, what do I do? So that's done. Okay, so if I do that, it's 54. Okay, so we want to create the track tree. What other issues do we have? We want to create a track tree. Let's also create basics for the basic ones on age. But at top, I want to switch play. Assign B, priority medium, label is going to be theme and scenes. I'm going to save that and move that over to in progress, because we're going to be doing those at the same time. So what I am going to do is go and refill my glass of water and get to the loo, and when I get back we will work through these bits here and get these views appearing, so that when I switch between things, you should see something like this for tracks and for playlists and for streams. And then we're going to support dragging songs to the app, so that these will actually appear differently depending on what we have here. But for the track view, there's some other features that I'm going to want to add to this. We're going to add some temporary tracks just to test this out. Maybe I have to do it where if we get the tracks in, we can do adding songs to playlists first. So yep, we will play around with that. So I will be back in probably 2-3 minutes, hopefully, in a little bit. Okay, I am back. So, let's get back into it. So we have our basics set up here. What we want to do is set things up so that when we change selection in the sidebar, it's going to change what is visible here. Now, the way this is set up in Coppice is a window will have a view model in it, and the view model will track the state of everything in the window. So at the window level, we need to say, okay, what sidebar items are selected? We also need it to control potentially stuff in terms of the menu bar, because at the moment the add button will add a playlist but can't add a stream. It will also probably control the playback overall, because this over here is going to be our playback system, and that should appear no matter no matter what is selected over here. So what we are going to do is create a very basic view model and just handle the sidebar selection stuff and get it where it will actually we can click on this to change the sidebar selection. And once that is done, in fact, let's write these up. So we're going to do add view model, add view model. We then want to add sidebar selection to view model, and then we also want to add current editor to view model. And that's going to let us change this stuff here. So when we have that, we then want to display current editor. So let's see how much of that we can get done in the next, what would it be, 50 minutes to an hour or so. So the first thing we want to do is we have our main window here. Well, actually, the first thing we want to do is let's open up Coppice, and I can have that open on another display, and I can have a look at how this all works there. So document, view model. We're going to create our main window view model. I have actually been playing around with my setup, tweaking various bits of it, just in terms of like where things are positioned. And one of my, because I actually got a monitor on it, one that will basically frees up a lot of space underneath one of my monitors. And I only ordered one, despite the fact I've got multiple monitors, because I wanted to see how good is it. And it seems to be fairly good. There are some slight flaws. For example, one of the bolts is like, I don't know if it's super glued it in or something, but one of the two levels of adjustment does not adjust. But other than that, it's pretty good. But another thing I've been trying is one of my external displays, I have rotated. So it is actually vertical. And it looks a bit weird at first, but I actually quite like it, having one of my screens be vertical, because it almost feels like I can fit more stuff on. Throughout the day I've got most of my communication stuff on, and it's just nice having it where I can just look up and down at various bits. I can have something that like I want up but don't need to look at a lot down at the bottom where you're not looking down as often. and I actually quite like it, especially as it takes up a lot less horizontal space, so I can make it my workspace a lot more compact. And one thing that I may be able to do, I'll have to work out how exactly I want to organise things, but I'm hoping in future I may be able to move all of my UI stuff, all of my streaming stuff over onto that second display and see if I can have, because I have 3 displays, have the vertical display just have all my streaming stuff on when I'm streaming, and that frees up another display so that I can actually switch between multiple displays and actually show a bit more stuff when I need to bring stuff up on a second display to reference. It allows me to have that, and I can potentially have like a picture-in-picture, something like that going on. So we'll see how that works going forward. I don't want to start messing around with it just now, because when the new computer comes I'm going to be rearranging all these displays again anyway, because one of them is currently attached to an iMac and I can't use that. So I'm going to be bringing back one of my other displays that has currently been hibernating. So let's create our view model. First, main window view model, which is going to be an object. Dynamic, but it's that much. Oh, nice. Model, and then we'll put in it with window nil, and then we'll do model.window equals. So up here we're going to have a protocol. The main window. In it, we're going to have a weak bar, like that, and then we'll just throw in an empty conformance. For when we do need to call up to it. So in here what we want is init model controller, and this is going to have our Streamline model controller.
Smoke over the city soul pollutes our sons and daughters. You can fall asleep on sheets of gold and wake up as a pauper. We all get old, we all slow down as the walls they close. We fall, we drown, and I need some breathing space. I won't grow
Right, so let's have a
old
look
with
at
grace.
what we have for such.
I need some breathing space. I can't keep living straight. Oh, we ain't gonna linger and lie when there's hard cash coming back.
Alright, so we're going to publish here because this is going to be
I know that there's hard cash coming
set
back.
for sidebar selection. This is a sidebar item,
Want no easy money.
and we're just going to set it to that first. Now we haven't actually defined what sidebar item is. We can do that in a sec. But we did set self.window. So the next thing we want to do,
keep living straight. Oh, we ain't gonna linger and wallow when there's hard cash coming back.
update election.
No way I'll just sit here when I know that there's hard cash coming back. Hard cash.
About selection. And then stuff.update editor based on selection.
We ain't gonna linger and wallow when there's hard cash coming back.
Editor.
No way I'll just sit here when I know that there's hard cash coming back. Hard cash. Don't want no easy money. Oh no. And now that we have all arrived, my friends get in your cars and drive. And now that we have all arrived,
We're going to throw in
my friends get
our
in your
sidebar
cars
item.
and drive. Gonna drive our blues away. Just another sunny day. Gonna drive
Okay,
our
on.
blues away. Just
There's
another
tracks.
sunny day.
Okay, stream with a model ID. Play case playlist model ID. Stick that up there for M3 data. That brings that in. Let's see. Stuff we station which we don't care about right now. Okay. And what we are now going to add here are sidebar item, which would be a main window view model. That sidebar item and because it's a sidebar item. For the header, it's going to be none. But for the track source, what we can do here is guard self.sidebar selection. Selection else turn because don't want to change things they've changed. But here, the sidebar item. Turn tracks. Here we'll return stream, but we're going to do self.id. Oh, and fanning. You don't want to have the dots at the beginning. order. So view controller, which is screen model. Model controller. Okay, so that build. So in here, we're not going to do the inverse where you take the selection and set it on the island, at least not yet. What instead we're going to select else from Coppice. Here we're going to create a view model. Not a view model. Is the abstract base class, but what you're going to have here is the main window view model. Let's leave it in then. Main window view model. Paste, 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 paste. My model controller. So what we can do now is, rather than passing in this, we'll pass in main model. And what we do is create matrix model, and we're going to set up nodes. Here. So the stream model is going to come in so this is a lazy R. we've got drag and drop. Selection. Select. No. Self dot in window view model dot update selection to node dot parameter. Here we do a guard let surface node equals properties are selected node. Selected geometry. -1 L applied item. That's inside that card. Apply self. Process now. So what that should do is if I go into your controller, main window view. So we've got update editor here. So I'm going to do print the editor to a new selection. Brackets on the end of there. Hold on. We got a. What are you complaining about now? Oh, okay, so what should happen? Out of the way so that I can that us. Update editor to tracks. Update editor to that stream. Different stream, or playlist, go on. Oops, we have all this stuff here. So edit. In this case, on editor. I have none. I have track. I have stream. Now for stream, editor on the actual object. Tracks, what we're probably going to do is add we're probably going to make it a protocol. Now the reason we have tracks is that the tracks sidebar item and the playlist sidebar item both need to use tracks. However, and the thing is, playlists, it could be smart playlists or regular playlists, so there are multiple playlists that could be used. So I think what we need to do, we'll probably have like a protocol that's a track provider. And what that protocol will do is that when you get a track provider, you can get a list of tracks and get various information so that the track editor can actually view them. And the track provider could be a playlist, smart playlist, or the tracks collection. To actually make tracks collection into a track provider. So that probably makes the most sense because then the tracks don't particularly care. Like the tracks you can just care about the basics of, I want to get a list of tracks that I can then deal with all the sorting and filtering of and everything. But adding tracks from a file it can do, dragging tracks from other locations, stuff it can do, so yeah, do it that way, but we'll leave that empty now. Tracks provider may end up turning into a class, and it may end up being its own thing where it's got a tracks provider and set a playlist on it or something like that, but we'll work it all out. So selection. If we're on none, then what we want to do is let's do it where that is a class, because we're probably going to want to make editor equatable, and you can't do that. Don't do that. Equatable. Now we don't technically need it. Okay. So in this case, we want publish edit for editor is editor, which is playlist. And what this may mean may change our data model some. Because we pass in a playlist, like the tracks on the playlist work differently between whether it's a plain playlist or a smart playlist. If it's a plain playlist, then a track belongs to the playlist. If it's a smart playlist, then they don't, because the filter belongs and the filter determines what the tracks are. So next. Yeah, so you can sort items onto the playlist. Sort the items into that playlist, you're going to need playlist tracks. Difference is a smart playlist is when a song changes, that smart playlist is going to have to update its playlist track. I suppose that makes life a bit easier then, as the track provider. Either takes a playlist and sends its tracks, or it sends all the tracks. Actually, this is a track provider. Optional playlist. Playlist isn't set, then we just get everything. So what we're going to do is case none self.current editor equals none stack self.current editor equals stack current here so let stream self stream collection object ID ID else self dot editor. Well, we don't change the current editor. Yes, just return and leave it as whatever the old editor was. And then we'll self dot current editor stream with the stream, and then we're going to do the here, but we don't actually. No, we are going to do this, even though it's an option, because similarly, if we can't find the playlist, we don't want to change editor. Rather than changing it and it changing to the track thing, and the user thinking, oh, it's done something wrong that way. self.current editing tracks with the playlist. Okay, that should build and run. Sweet. So here we have playlist details, view controller, playlist view model. What we want to editor, container, stuff, container, this. Have edit container. Okay, so the view model is going to be fairly simple. A view model. Edge. To var. Document window. Main window view model. Editor. On. Set. So that we aren't actually changing, and then we're going to do self.change. Then what we're going to do is just subscribers. Editor. That's up. Dot subscribers. Editor. Editor. Self. New editor. So when it changed on the main window view model, we update it there, which updates tells the view controller. And the view controller, what we want to have. Private apartment, which is controller. We're probably going to add a protocol to that later to sync up a bit with Coppice. May do, may not. It depends what we actually. Maybe more self-contained than Coppice, because Coppice, editors can be embedded in editors, and they need to bend their what's it called? Their inspectors up. Where we really are going to have like a playback controller, so they won't need to bend stuff up. They will have the playback controller that they can tell to do stuff. So, editor changed. Self dot main editor equals self dot create editor. Switch. Case on, case back, playlist, case 3. This bit is fairly simple because we all value you. Value dot parent. Let new editor equal self dot main old editor view dot add subview. Editor dot view, but I hub. And that's extension. That's 0. Because that conveniently adds a bunch of constraints for me. Right, so add child, add subview. Value remove. Parent. That's all there, and then we want self dot window dot recalculate. Right, so what we're going to do here is self dot main editor equals ns plain ns3 controller. I'm going to do self.main editor equal max controller new model max model playlist document. Model. But that is a stream. Model. Right, so what we're going to do down here, rename this to track. Back to this. List to okay. So, I have tracks you want this out of that takes a playlist, be a view model. Well, it takes a playlist, but we also want it to take a main window view model. View model. Okay, so we've got that one in. View object. Yeah. Label. Well, is we're going to bind that label. Center it in there. Going to bind its value to not the shared user defaults but files owner self dot view model dot title. Now in here, view model, we're going to that object to be at dynamic, and what that's going to do is let us use bindings on it, and then in our view model we need to actually some stuff. So dynamic let stream in. Want to init with a stream and a go view. Init model. At that point, you should be able to make build. Masalovic, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Let me know how in chat how you are today if you feel up to it. Alright, so we're not thorough. Alright, model. No, tracksuit controller. Okay. Okay. Alright, so breakable and washable. Hopefully fix. If I put them in. Oh. I don't want actually on this one. Container controller, which is a model. New model. Okay. Lazy bar. Alright, so we will return. Down. Oh yeah. Down here. And a few. So, build and run. Got tracks. 1, stream 2, stream 3. And then we've got playlists. Now we can show that the playlists are working because what we to let track 4 equals self on track 4 dot title equals toolbar self dot add track 4 to playlist let me set that to playlist 3. So we have all that. The other thing we need to do is a new model here. We do let playlist equals playlist. Else, well no, what we're going to do is let tracks equals either playlist.tracks.compact map track or model controller track collection tracks sorted by title. So if I build and run that, again stream 1, stream 2, stream 3, go there, no tracks. Oh, is it not up? I'm not creating. So let data source yeah, we're going to data source. That's not data source. Table view. Table view. We will add that property in a second. And self dot data source dot view model equals self dot view model. What we can then go to is bring up our table view. Add a table outlet. So that should build and run. Good. stream. That's good. There we are. We've got food bar appearing there, nothing appearing there. Track 1 through 3 there, but if we go up to here, all of them appear. We've got all of our tracks over there, some tracks there. So everything is hooked up and working, and we are good to go. So I am going to commit. Apply. This has completed. So Streamline 1 7 8 X. Basic X. So that is committed, and I think that will do us for today, because we have all of these things checked off. So what we're going to try and do on Friday is get it so that you can drag tracks from either a playlist or a track onto a playlist, add it to that playlist. We are going to get it so we can drag audio files in, either to tracks or to playlists, add them. Then we probably want to do editing. But let's write these down so that they are all ready for Friday. So, adding tracks, playlists. Adding song, well, adding audio files. That. Sorting. Yeah. Alright. Playlists. Toggle columns, because what we want to be able to do is to go here and right click and show and hide columns. Now I do have some code for that, though it's kind of old, and I think it's Objective C. So we may end up taking that and porting to Swift. But I think that has been a fairly good evening of work. Got quite a lot of progress done, and yeah, if we can, sidebar is working, if we can get through all of the stuff that I have listed, maybe Friday by the end of Monday, we should be in a good place. Now, there are some complexities there. So first off, Friday, I'm possibly going to be starting streaming earlier than 2 PM, but I'm definitely going to be finishing earlier than 5 PM because I've got to go somewhere for 5 PM. So I'll probably be finishing about half an hour earlier than usual on Friday. Monday, I'm going to try and stream, but it does depend because, as I said, the Mac Studio is coming, and it could come on Friday, it could come on Monday. So it depends when that arrives, because I need to start getting that set up at some point. So we'll see how things go. I'll try to stream both days, but timing's maybe shifted a bit. But yeah, I think that's been a fairly good stream, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, or day, whatever time it is where you are. And until Friday, as always, happy coding.